It was such an amazing experience to see Milan Design Week for the first time. Beauty, luxury, and innovation overwhelmed my senses, and I couldn't digest one exciting piece of furniture before seeing another just as unique and striking. From Friday to Sunday afternoon, I saw as much as my body physically allowed at Milan Design Week. What you'll see in this video is what to expect if you're going to Milan Design Week, how I went affordably, and my thoughts on Milan Design Week. I did as much research as I could on what exhibits would be of interest to me, my key research words being sustainable, innovative, experimental, and high-quality craftsmanship. I tried my best to create the most efficient route to see the most, but Milan is huge, and getting around by foot and public transportation, there were some hurdles that would have been nice not to have to jump, but it's okay, because I'm a student. And I'm balling on a budget, and I just felt so incredibly privileged and grateful to be able to be there in the same space as so many amazing designers and work. I thought Milan Design Week would be a great place to network and meet other designers, not expecting much face-to-face time with them because of the nature of how chaotic these types of events can be, but just wanting to be prepared in case conversation struck. I was going to write up my name and info, but I felt like this was worse than having nothing and dismissed this attempt. But then I wrote up questions I would want to ask a designer in Italian and memorized those, and then I just spent the rest of the train ride preparing myself for how exhausting of a weekend I knew it was going to be. We got to our Airbnb, got ready, and we're out of it 15 minutes after we got there. We stopped at this 250 kebab spot and ate at a park on the way there. We had to figure out the Milan metro system, which was pretty simple. And then we went to our first exhibit, Responsive Nature. I saw that this had a great set design. I'm really into environmental design, and so I wanted to see the space, although the furniture wasn't my taste necessarily. It was so fun to just see the furniture and the great display and these vegetable bouquets that were so cool. And then they had this completely unnecessary projection that I actually loved. And entering it was such a stark contrast. It was really cool to see. I had exhibitions that we planned to go to, and we just decided to walk to all of those if it was manageable so that we could see whatever was being displayed on the way there. The first one was this Giorgetti rocking chair, which is funny because I've seen it in my classes and I got to sit in the unreleased one. And this is like a freaking, I think, $20,000 rocking chair, which was so cool to just feel. Honestly, I didn't think it was that comfortable. I was like, I have to have my feet up, otherwise I slide forward. But other than that, completely reasonable price. It was a cool environment and really weirdly secretive and funny because they just shut you in that little 3D box. But that's what Milan Design Week is, creating new environments and experiences to display the designs, which is super fun. Then I saw these beautiful little flowers, and honestly, it was a great spot to cool down and just sit in the steam. Designs were being exhibited everywhere. This was like a hotel entrance. Then we had to stop for aperitivo and do a quick reset because I made us both walk an hour to this design district that was a little bit more spread out than I had anticipated. And there was this one exhibit that we really wanted to see before it closed at 7. And so we had to literally turn around right when we got there, and we didn't see a single thing. But I was really excited to see this one. It was another strong environmental design where this artist created this immersive bubble that actually complemented the furniture so well. It's modular furniture, but bubble that you were able to walk in and that surrounded the furniture made it so much cozier than the furniture was. People were taking pictures. It seemed like people really loved it, and the line for it was kind of long. And we went till closing time, which was perfect because it kind of got emptied out. There was an amazing sound designer that really helped set the atmosphere to be perfection, and I really enjoyed this exhibit. Then we went to High Sense because this is the only thing left open, and met our friends that we came here with, and it was as you would expect a technology company to be during Milan Design Week. Yeah, we were there for 5 minutes, and then this was the last thing open, and we walked through that lamp store. And then the next day I woke up so early so I could get to the Salone Del Mobile at crack of dawn, but honestly I didn't get there till 10 because the train stopped and it was overcrowded and I was dying. But this was the event I was the most excited for, and I think we saw 3/4 of the rooms. We skipped the bathroom and kitchen section. This section, I don't know what this section was called, but it exhibited design schools, entrepreneurs. They had a whole section just for skilled craftsmanship and innovation throughout Europe, or throughout the world. And this is where I saw some of my favorite pieces, like this tapestry by Marlissa Marasco. It was so cool. It was her notes to play on the guitar, and then you could scan the QR code and listen to it. And she just sat there and worked on her stuff and was like a part of the exhibit. But it was just inspiring to see so many young entrepreneurs go after their dream of selling their designs. I've had experience making my own bioplastic, so this booth was particularly interesting to me. She had such a great array of tests and even included a sample in a pamphlet she gave us. This photosynthetic architecture booth was exciting for me to experience because it was actually a rarity at this event to see designs focused on improving the space that they occupy and concerned with the climate crisis and making sustainable designs, and so this was really innovative and exciting to me. And then we entered the section where there's these larger companies and larger furniture, and I was a little bit disappointed by this section. The atmosphere totally changed. It became a little bit more pretentious and dull. And besides this section, this art section was actually really beautiful. I don't know if it was like curators, specific artists. Each booth in this corner of the fair was different. So some of these were vintage pieces, some of them were artisanal, and either way, it would be such a dream to have any of the pieces in this section in my home. Then we went to my favorite exhibition out of the whole weekend, Alcove Baguio Military Hospital. This was an amazing experience, highlighting such experimental creative designs. Alcova turned all the rooms throughout the property into gallery spaces, and dare I say, the juxtaposition of like the crumbling walls and the abandoned building with the elevated materials and luxurious finishes on all of these designs was such a beautiful thing. We got a really early start on Sunday, and we got to see a little bit more of Milan, as this was our only time to visit it during our time in Italy, and it was so fun to see the diversity in architecture and a little bit more nature-centric buildings. Just so much more green than where we are right now in Florence. We really both love the Eames, and so we wanted to see the exhibition that was happening at the Design Museum. Unfortunately, a lot of the other exhibitions at the Design Museum you had to pay for, which was so funny and silly to me, as it was, first of all, Milan Design Week, and we are design students. It was still something that I'm really happy I got to see, as there was only a little bit time before our train left on Sunday afternoon, so it seemed like the perfect thing to see with our time that we had. I felt so incredibly privileged and blessed and grateful to be able to attend this event that so many designers dream of attending. And I also left feeling a little disappointed and pretty concerned. If you just want to see what the event is like and you're going and want to prepare, that's the end of the video. But if you want to hear my thoughts on the event and what I took away as a design student, that is what the rest of this video will be about. I wasn't able to see all that was being exhibited across the whole city of Milan, but out of the large amount I was able to see, only a little bit had user-centered designs. If you're a designer, you should definitely know what user-centered design is, but if you're not familiar with the term, it's essentially thinking about the user's experience with the product in every stage of the product development, but also very little of user-centered design is focused on the aesthetics. Like, obviously, that's a huge important part of any design, but you're thinking about the longevity, the comfortability, the life cycle of the product, and actually improving the user's life with this product and not just being a part of a trend. Unfortunately, a lot of what I saw, specifically the Salone Del Mobile, was just trendy designs. I saw the same couch like 15 times, the same plastic manufactured lamps, booth after booth after booth, and I was getting so incredibly discouraged. Like, this event just made me realize that I think designers are minimizing their impact in the world and forgetting that we are contributing members of society, and designers have a huge role in how civilization is going to evolve. And a huge part of advancing civilization is optimizing efficiency, comfortability, and pleasure in people's lives so that they can perform better. And so we can no longer produce junk, because also our world is in such an environmental crisis that we cannot be having these trendy objects be made in such a large scale. I saw so many chairs that cost a couple $1,000s that would not be comfortable enough to be sat in and were made with harmful materials. I understand the importance of high quality craftsmanship, keeping it alive, the psychological benefits that come with surrounding yourself with it, and how it's just so much better than like particle board from IKEA or Walmart. But it's a privilege. But it's even more of a kind of a disgusting privilege to have a chair that can't even be sat in. And people have been making functional art for centuries, and it's one of my favorite things when something is made beautifully that has a practical purpose, just so that you can do your task beautifully. One of my favorite things. That is not at all what was happening at the Salone Del Mobile and a lot of these large corporation trade booths. I understand that Milan Design Week is all about displaying beauty, and it's reflecting where homeware design is today. But there needs to be a reprioritization in one of the largest design events of the world to promoting more environmentally conscious designs. And I do want to say that the independent design section at the Salone Del Mobile had a lot of independent designers creating sustainably driven designs that were super innovative and inspiring. And I hope that they get the growth and attention that they deserve, because that was exciting to see. But this video isn't about my design philosophy, and it's long enough, so thank you for watching. Oh, and I also do want to say that I did not include like any designs in this video that are a part of this critique, because that would be like impossible to choose what one out of the hundreds that I saw to include. And I also like didn't want to specifically name out any singular companies, because this is such a large scale problem. But anyway, thanks for watching. And ciao. And I also do want to say that it's so important to go to these events, and that I actually would love to go again, and I hope I get to go again, because it's important as designers to see the current market, see its strengths, its weaknesses, how to improve it, and continue to research your role and be innovative and inspiring. And thank you so much for watching. I'm actually finally done. Ciao.